Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk about tips to prevent sexual assault, sexual harassment, or any unwanted or uninvited contact. So today we're going to be talking about the five ways to stop being interrupted, and that's at school, work, social situations, or a media interview. So I'm Susan Harrow. I'm a media and communications coach. And for the past 28 years, I've helped thousands of people with verbal, and I've trained them on verbal and nonverbal communications. I'm also a black belt in Aikido, Japanese martial arts. So, and what I wanted to tell you too is that this comes from the course that I've created called True Shield, Verbal Self-Defense for Girls. It's for girls 12 to 24, and it's about empowering them for the 10 most difficult or dangerous situations that they'll encounter to stay safe. Now, I've taken this directly from that course because we as women, didn't learn a lot of these things. And this is something to train our daughters and also now to train ourselves. And it came out of all of this training that I've done with women that they didn't have these techniques. So I want to give them to you right now. So let's start. Tip number one about how not to get interrupted is super simple. Stop or wait. Now, I said that a little bit louder because I wanted to snap people out of their attention, right? I wanted them, it's called a pattern interrupt. So boom, I wanted you to pop open your mind. And oftentimes we do that. The humor does the same thing. It makes you laugh. And it like opens things up. This pattern interrupt does exactly the same thing. So a wait or stop, I'm not finished. And then what you want to do is lower your voice. Speak a little bit softer so you can draw people into you. So people have to lean forward. So it's a pull versus a push out. So it's you're speaking softly, and then people are like, what is she saying? You need to lean in. Okay, so that's the first pattern interrupt. The second tip is shh. What this does is it brings us back to our childhood, because when a teacher or a parent said that in a classroom, shh, what do? We stop, we shut up. Now, the key to all of these, as soon as you do it, you want to keep talking. You want to keep continuing the conversation. And so it's just a momentary thing, shh. And then what I wanted to say is that this is an important point because blah, blah, blah. And you continue on. I'm peeping at my notes here. So number 3 is to say the person's name, Robert. And then you just continue on again. This is a pattern interrupt. And I'll tell you what, anytime you say somebody's name, their head snaps up. What? Who? Me? It's always like, it doesn't matter. And I learned this as a consultant for Pacific Bell Directory, AT&T, the Yellow Pages, when I was role-playing with people on the phone and in person, is that's how they kept me on the phone. I was about to try to, get off of the phone because they're trying to sell me something in a sales situation or account collections or whatever it was. And we would have fake names, of course, but I would about to say, no, I really don't want that. I'm going to go now. And they'd say, Susan. And I'd say, yes. And then they'd continue on talking. And it worked every time, even if they did it 3 times. So this is like a godsend. This is a saver. You can use it over and over again. So the fourth thing is a don't. I want to say, I read this, and I've read this before, that when you're in a conversation, so I want to say, don't say this. Do not say, I'll be short, I'll be quick, this will only take a few minutes. What we don't want is for people to, we're not catering to their short attention span or because they don't respect us. What you can say instead is, I have 3 more points. And that way it shapes the conversation and it shapes their thinking, and it also shapes their attention, so they know how long to listen to you. So it's actually a politeness and a courtesy to do this, either in a media interview or at a meeting. I have 3 more points. So they know when you're finished number 3, you're done. The fifth thing is, this comes from Soraya Chemali. And she says, these are the 10 words every girl should know. And I agree with her. Stop interrupting me. I just said that, and no explanation needed. Now, I'm going to give a little explanation of these things. She didn't, but I want to talk a little bit about these and elaborate. Stop interrupting me. That's self-explanatory. And that's a little harsh. So use it accordingly in a meeting. So stop interrupting me. I would probably say, please stop interrupting me. And I'm not finished, and that, and then continue on the conversation. So it softens it a little bit. You judge, these are not hard and fast rules. Each situation is different. And then number 2, I just said that. When would you use that? You would use that in any kind of situation where someone has repeated something that you have already said, and you are taking the credit back for it. This happens so much in meetings when women's ideas are not heard, or they're taken by someone else and then accepted by the group. So a nice thing to do with this, and to soften it and to include everyone, is once you say, I just said that, I'm so happy that you agree, or I'm so glad that we got consensus on this, and now this is something we can move forward with. So that's a way to make it inclusive versus a hard stop. And the third thing, no explanation needed. That would be at a time when you don't necessarily want to elaborate on something, where you feel like it's done. And this is something that we women often, a trap that we fall into, which is thinking that we need to accommodate someone, and we do not. So if you're done, you're done. Hard stop. No explanation needed, meaning you have said everything that you're going to say. And the other thing that you can do, if you're bold enough to do this, is act like you didn't even hear it and move on. Men do this all the time. Why not us? So I'm Susan Harrow. The course that this came from is called True Shield, Verbal Self-Defense for Girls. And I am a part of the hashtag #MeToo. And I've also started a hashtag myself called NotMe. And the reason why I've done this is because I think it's really wonderful that we now know how many women are included in being assaulted. And now is the time to start to move forward in preventing sexual assault within our own community, and start to learning these skills, because the culture, the laws, and the policies do not protect us. So we can protect ourselves. And so that is what I'm collecting for you, and I'm going to have all of these all of your comments and videos, which I would love you to share with me, share your comments and videos. And then I'm going to post this in a repository. So we're going to have it as women, so we can go there. Eventually, I'm going to categorize it so you can go there and look at any kind of situation, and train your daughters and train yourselves. So please send in the time when you spoke up for yourself, or you spoke up for someone else, the situation, action, result. And you can send in a video, or send it in, or type it in and send it to me. So I'd love to have you to contribute that. I'd love to hear that. And and if you also like these tips, please feel free to subscribe. So I look forward to hearing from you, and more tips are on the way. Talk to you soon.